As discussed earlier, aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen and it occurs through various steps. And this chemical reaction is represented as C6H12O6, that is glucose, in the presence of oxygen is oxidized, or it is completely broken down into 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, water, and then release of energy. And also we discussed that there is a common pathway for both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, and that common pathway is called as glycolysis, otherwise called as EMP pathway, and these are the initials of the 3 scientists who elucidated this pathway. And this glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm. Well, now let us look at the steps. So glycolysis is a reaction where glucose, which is 6-carbon compound, is finally converted into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, as we have discussed, which takes place in cytoplasm, and it is a 10-step reaction, and each step is catalyzed by an enzyme. And for this class, we will not be focusing on the enzyme, we just look at the steps here. So starting with glucose, we know that glucose is the major respiratory substrate in the cellular respiration. So glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, is converted into glucose 6-phosphate. So here we can see that there is utilization of ATP instead of release of ATP. So during this glycolysis process, the initial half is investment of the energy for the next half. So here you have to focus where ATP is utilized and NADP is utilized, or it is produced. So in the first step, you can see the utilization of ATP. So glucose is phosphorylated into glucose 6-phosphate. So the numbering here given is, it is the position of the phosphate onto the glucose. So glucose, there are 6 carbons, so carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on the 6th position of the carbon, phosphate is present. So glucose 6-phosphate, and here utilization of ATP. ATP is utilized, so we have to minus. Okay, so now next step is, second step is glucose 6-phosphate, it converts. Okay, glucose and fructose are isomers, so it converts into fructose 6-phosphate. Again here 6 carbon, and this fructose 6-phosphate undergo one more phosphorylation, that is addition of phosphate to itself, again by utilizing ATP. Now the fructose becomes fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, that is 1,6 is the position of phosphate. There are 2 phosphates, so bisphosphate. Phosphate on carbon number 1, phosphate on carbon number 6. Okay. Now after this the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate splits into, so fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is a 6-carbon compound, and it splits into 2 3-carbon compound. So that is triose-phosphate. You get 2 different 3-carbon compound. So one is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is a 3-carbon compound, and dihydroxyacetone phosphate, again it's a 3-carbon compound. And here you can see that this enzyme helps in the interconversion of these two. So it can be converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, can be converted to dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and then again this can be converted back to this. So we can just use a short form for glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. We can just write G3P. And dihydroxyacetone phosphate, we can just write DHAP. Okay, so this is the abbreviated form here. So this 6-carbon compound is split into 2 3-carbon compound, and which are interconvertible. Now the next pathway is continue from G3P. It will continue from G3P. Now glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, I'll say G3P. Now this G3P will undergo again oxidation. Okay, so it becomes triose bisphosphate. and here you can find the production of NaDH plus H plus. And this triose bisphosphate undergo again, they lose phosphate group and helps in the formation of ATP here. So in the cytoplasm, ADP and PI is already there, and then the loss of the phosphate from here that is utilized by ADP. ADP is present in the cytoplasm, and the loss of one phosphate from this will lead to the formation of ATP. Now triose bisphosphate, that is phosphoglyceric acid having phosphate at carbon number 1 and 3, and one of the phosphate is lost. So we have 3-phosphoglyceric acid. 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and this 3-phosphoglyceric acid, again here it shows, this number shows the position of phosphate on the glyceric acid. So carbon number 3 has this phosphate group, so 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and then it turns or it converts into 2-phosphoglycerate. Here, 2 again, the position of the phosphate has changed. It has moved from carbon number 3 to carbon number 2. So, 2-phosphoglycerate. And this 2-phosphoglycerate, water is released and turns into phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate, or abbreviated as PEP. And this PEP loses again the phosphate and helps in the synthesis of ATP, that is energy form, and it becomes pyruvic acid. So in this pathway, you find that a glucose is finally converted into pyruvic acid, and pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon compound, glucose is a 6-carbon compound. That means there should be 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Let's see here. From here, glucose converting glucose 6-phosphate by utilizing phosphate from the ATP. Phosphate is added here, and then glucose converts into fructose. They are isomer, both are 6-carbon compound, and then fructose again accepts fructose 6-phosphate, accepts the phosphate from ATP and becomes fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which splits into 2-triose phosphate. And these 2 triose phosphate are G3P and DHAP. And since they are interconvertible, this glyceraldehyde can turn into this, and DHAP can turn into converted to this. Now here, G3P will continue with the process of glycolysis pathway. So, if this converts into G3P, we'll have how many? 2-triose bisphosphate, and then from here onwards, we're going to multiply with 2 here. So, the final product is pyruvic acid, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. And in this tab, there are release as well as utilization of energy. Now let us calculate how much amount of energy is utilized and how much, what is the net gain of energy. So let's see here. We have 1 ATP utilized. So we'll just write minus 1 ATP here. And then here, 1 more. Now next, here you can see glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate G3P converting into triose phosphate, triose bisphosphate. There is a release of NaDH. Okay, now here you can see that this G3P enters into the, continues with the glycolysis. This may also convert to this and then continue with the cycle. That means there are 2 G3P continuing with the glycolysis. So we can just multiply with 2 here. And then here ATP, production of ATP. So again, how many ATP? Here 1, so 1 into 2, that is 2 ATP. Then coming down here. Again, addition of 2 ATP. Now, let's just count here. 2 these are the gain of energy. But here 2 ATP is utilized in the earlier stages of glycolysis. So the net gain of energy is 2 NADH and 2 ATP. Okay, so this is the net gain of energy during the process of glycolysis. Again here, this glycolysis is not a simple reaction, it is a multiple step, 10 steps reaction. So you need to understand and also you need to know the sequence. It should occur in sequence. So as to memorize it easily, we have a mnemonics. So let's see here. This is a mnemonics to remember the steps in the glycolysis. So goodness gracious Father Franklin did go by peeling pumpkin to prepare ice. So if you look at this, here first, you just look at the first letter of it, goodness. So this stands for, okay, glucose, and gracious, again see, glucose 6-phosphate, father F, that is father, fructose 6-phosphate, and then here fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, and then here, to come here, the fifth step, we have 2 thyrose so D, okay, DHAB, dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and then G3P or ensaldehyde 3-phosphate, and then next go by bisphosphate, 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid, and then P phosphoglyceric acid, next one more phosphoglycerate, and then 2, I just put in bracket, it's not there. Now prepare, PEP, here PEP, and then finally by P here, okay, representing that of pyruvic acid. So if you remember this, you can easily remember the steps of the glycolysis. Okay, well, now during aerobic respiration, we discussed that it is a complete breakdown of glucose, and here is a partial breakdown of glucose. This glucose is broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Now this pyruvic acid also must undergo further breakdown so that all the carbon in the pyruvic acid is converted into carbon dioxide and energy is released. And that energy usually be converted into ATP at the final step of respiration. Okay, and this we know that it occurs in cytoplasm, and in glycolysis you should know that, okay, it has other name, that is EMP pathway. So sometimes they may ask you what is EMP pathway. So you should write this step, glycolysis, breakdown of glucose, involving 10 steps here. Okay, and this EMP pathway occurs in cytoplasm. So it occurs and also is a common pathway for aerobic respiration as well as anaerobic respiration. Let us now look at the next step in the aerobic respiration, that is Krebs cycle, and before that there is one more step as discussed, that is oxidative decarboxylation. So here, pyruvic acid, where is it produced? What is the site? Of course, since the reaction is taking place in cytoplasm, this pyruvic acid is also produced in the cytoplasm. Now the next step, the following step of the aerobic respiration takes place in a powerhouse of the cell, that is mitochondria. Right. Now next is oxidative decarboxylation, and it takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. Okay, so we know that the cell having nucleus and all the organelles, and one such organelle is mitochondria. And this mitochondria, it has outer membrane, inner membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane, and inside is a fluid field called as matrix, and this matrix contains number of enzymes which helps in the cellular breakdown of the product of glycolysis in the release of energy. Okay, so this oxidative carboxylation takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. So here what happens here is glucose, that is C6H12O6 glucose, is converted into pyruvic acid by a process of glycolysis, and this pyruvic acid must be transported into the matrix so that this oxidative carboxylation occurs. Okay, so let's say here in the matrix pyruvic acid is there. Now this pyruvic acid, which is 3 carbon compound, and actually there are 2 pyruvic acid from 1 glucose. You have to keep in mind 1 glucose producing 2 pyruvic acid. Now this pyruvic acid undergo oxidative decarboxylation. Name itself says decarboxylation, removal of carbon dioxide. Okay, so coenzyme A, and they lose a molecule of carbon dioxide, and then again it involves reduction of NAD plus to NADH plus H, and then giving rise to acetyl-CoA. Now you can see one pyruvic acid undergoes decarboxylation, wherein they lose a molecule of carbon dioxide to give you acetyl-CoA. Now acetyl-CoA, how many carbon are present in this? Well, you can easily see here one is lost here in the form of carbon dioxide, so it is a 2 carbon compound. Acetyl-CoA is a 2 carbon compound which will now enter into a Krebs cycle. That is the next step of reaction, explained by Hans Krebs. Sir Hans Krebs, who called as Krebs cycle, or we say, okay, so this enters into Krebs cycle, or we call it as tricarboxylic acid, citric acid, tricarboxylic acid cycle, or we have citric acid cycle, and this reaction also takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. Okay, so during oxidative decarboxylation, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is converted into 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA. So these 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA enters into the next type of reaction, that is explained by Sir Hans Krebs, so called as Krebs cycle or TCA cycle, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle or citric acid cycle. So here actually 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA enters into Krebs cycle, but here I just explain only one of it, so you can multiply with 2. So acetyl-CoA enters into Krebs cycle, and there is a condensation of acetyl-CoA, which is a 2 carbon compound, with that of oxaloacetic acid, which is 4 carbon compound. And this condensation of acetyl-CoA and OAA leads to the formation of citric acid. So this citric acid is a 6 carbon compound, and again here in all these reaction steps, they are catalyzed by enzymes, various enzymes. Now this citric acid, that with a 6 carbon compound, it converts into isocitric acid, And then this isocitric acid undergoes a change, or you can say decarboxylation, and release a molecule of carbon dioxide. Now this citric acid, isocitric acid, which is 6-carbon compound, lose a molecule of carbon in the form of carbon dioxide and result in the formation of alpha-ketoglutarate acid, which is 5-carbon compound. And here, the oxidation of this isocitric acid leads to the reduction of NAD+. Okay, and then there is a formation of NADH plus H plus. Next, this alpha-ketoglutarate acid undergo one more oxidation, wherein this again NADH is converted into NAD is converted, NAD plus is converted to NADH and hydrogen ion, and again here there is a release of carbon dioxide, and the product formed is succinyl-CoA. And this succinyl-CoA again becomes a substrate for the next reaction, that is, again it changed into succinic acid, and in the process there is a formation of GTP from GDP, diphosphate. We have ATP, likewise there is a GTP, and this GTP helps in the synthesis of, okay, so the conversion of GTP back to GTP is coupled with the synthesis of ATP. So in a way you can say that from succinyl-CoA to succinic acid conversion, ATP is synthesized. And we know that the synthesis of ATP is called as phosphorylation. And here, the phosphorylation, during the phosphorylation, the substrate here is succinyl-CoA. So the type of ATP synthesis formed is substrate level phosphorylation. So here we have substrate level phosphorylation. Earlier in photosynthesis chapter, we talked about photophosphorylation, where the ATP synthesis takes place in the presence of sunlight. And here, ATP synthesis takes place at the substrate level. So, substrate level phosphorylation. Well, now this succinic acid, which is 4-carbon compound, converts into fumaric acid. Again in the process, there is a reduction of FAD+. Reduction of FAD+ into FADH2. Again, this is a form of energy here. And this fumaric acid, which is 4-carbon compound, converts into malic acid. And this malic acid again regenerates the first acceptor, or you can say first starter molecule for the citric acid cycle, that is OAA. And in the process again this malic acid undergo oxidation. Okay, so oxidation which is used to convert NAD into NADH plus H plus. So in this cycle you can see that there is a cyclic, the pathway is cyclic, and that's why it's called as Krebs cycle, and it involves 3-carboxylic acid or tricarboxylic acid cycle, or the first product here from the citric acid, that is why citric acid cycle. Now, as we discussed about this, you have to make note of the release of carbon dioxide. You see that acetyl-CoA enters into the Krebs cycle, and acetyl-CoA is a 2-carbon compound, and in this Krebs cycle, this 2-carbon compound acetyl-CoA, okay, it leads to the breakdown of acetyl-CoA into 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. So, loss of water carbon dioxide, the release of carbon dioxide, one here and another one you can find is here. So, and that is the complete breakdown. Okay, if you look at the overall picture of respiration here, see here, glucose is completely broken down into carbon dioxide. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. So, before this step, there is one more step to discuss, is oxidative decarboxylation, where 1 molecule of carbon dioxide is released. And here, 2, okay, if you count 1 in the earlier step, 2, 3, and multiply by 2, because glucose gives rise to 2 pyruvic acid. So, you can see there is a complete breakdown of carbon dioxide. And we also know that during the process of this respiration, there is a release of a huge amount of energy that is in the form of ATP as discussed. Now, right now, you can see that there is not much of ATP. So you may wonder, when will this be produced? The glucose is already being oxidized. And also, where is the use of oxygen? We discussed that during aerobic respiration, there is a utilization of oxygen, but till here we have not discussed about the role of oxygen. So all these things we'll be discussing in the next topic, wherein there is a oxidation of various molecules, especially that of FADH2, NADH. Okay, so these two are oxidized in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. That we should discuss in the next topic. As for now, let us just identify where are the different forms of energy synthesized or released. You can see here, one acetyl-CoA is entering the Krebs cycle. So there is one NADH here, 2 and 3. So, and during Krebs cycle, how many NADH? Output of the energy is, you can find 3 NADH per cycle here, and then 1 ATP. See here, there is a synthesis of GTP which is coupled with the synthesis of ATP when we convert back into GTP. And then there is one more, that is one molecule of FADH2. And since 2 molecules of acetyl enters into Krebs cycle, we just have to multiply all of this into 2. So we have 6 NADH plus H plus 2 ATP, okay, and 2 FADH2. So these are the different forms of energy produced during Krebs cycle, and during Krebs cycle we also see the release of carbon dioxide gas, which are the byproduct of respiration process. Okay, now this cycle again, the step must occur sequentially, and you must remember the steps. So as to make it easy for you to remember, let us again look at another mnemonics here. Of course, citrate is the silly, stupid, funny molecule. Okay, so let us take the first letter of each word. O stands for here, oxaloacetic acid. Citric acid here, isocitric acid or isocitrate, and A, alpha ketoglutaric acid. S, succinyl-CoA, and S here, succinic acid. And then funny, F from funny, that is fumaric acid, and molecule M standing for malic acid. So in this way you can remember the sequence, and this is very important topic from the chapter. Okay, now this is done. We are almost done here. Glucose is completely broken down into 6 molecules. Till now what we have learned is glucose is completely broken down into 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, and in the process water is also released and some amount of energy is released. Now, this oxygen is not utilized, and also the energy, this energy has to be in the form of ATP, which is the currency of energy. So where will it occur? It will occur in the inner mitochondrial membrane, that is in process, that is ETS, electron transport system, and then oxidative phosphorylation.